somehow it just keeps getting worse. It's everything that the UNICEF, the United Nations, has been warning for some time, that when you consistently deprive a population now of food and of water and of basic sanitation, then you get this collision of potential disasters. So now we've got the risk of disease outbreaks. We've seen the malnutrition, Dan. We know the malnutrition is getting much worse. We've heard that in the north particularly. And bombardments continue. I don't know if you can hear now, the drone above me. Bombardments continue night after night. So this is a disaster for children that just seems to have no end in sight.
And we've been told that there is some aid getting through. How much are you seeing on the ground?
Yeah, there is, and it's important. Look, this is what UNICEF does. UNICEF, World Health Organization. Tomorrow I will go to the north. We will take that magic therapeutic food for children, for the most severely malnourished children. You know, I'm talking to a colleague tonight. We're getting in some mobile desalination plants with generators. These things are critical, and these are life-saving. The fact still remains not nearly enough. Dan, when I talk about the malnutrition, the desperation, remembering that 10 kilometres from where I am, I passed hundreds of trucks on the Egyptian side of the border, though. That's the food, the water, the medicine that is so desperately needed here. And we have to be very clear that when that is not coming in, the obstructions, the speed, the reasons, whatever they are, that not coming in, that is costing children's lives.
And there has been a lot made, James, of a pathway for aid in via sea. But as you've just identified, it's by road that all experts are saying is what is key here, isn't it?
Absolutely, Dan. Look, any aid coming in, of course, as long as it's not a distraction. Now, the ship that came in, great, but that had the equivalent of about 12 trucks of aid on it, okay? And as I say, I passed hundreds of trucks that can come in with that aid. The road networks are here. There are 4 or 5 other access points. We're only using one entry point into Gaza. There are 4 or 5 others. This is what is urgently needed. And as the occupying power, Israel does have that legal responsibility to help make this happen. When you've got things like airdrops, Dan, airdrops are normally used when you've got a crisis where people are cut off hundreds and hundreds of kilometres from the nearest road route. That is not the case here. The life-saving supply is almost within reach. We just need that willingness to ensure that the Gaza Strip is flooded with that aid.
And in speaking of that aid, can you give us a sense of how much you believe is needed right now?
Well, look, when you've got an imminent famine in the north, when you've got 2/3 of homes destroyed, and so, you know, basically 85% of the population is living out, is having to move. So you need blankets, you need medicines, you need water, you need repair water systems, a massive injection of food. Everything is needed, and it segues very neatly to the quickest way, the safest way to get life-saving aid and to stop this misery on so many people, and certainly to stop more children being killed, is for a ceasefire. That is the surest way, Dan, to make sure that aid gets across the Gaza Strip, no more children are killed, and critically, those children, those Israeli children who are somewhere in Gaza, probably underground somewhere, they get home, end that torment for them. All these things happen with a ceasefire.
And Israel, though, is saying that they are flooding that area of Gaza with aid. What do you say to that?
Look, unfortunately, you just have to look at the numbers. You know, if you look at across the Gaza Strip, maybe that's the easiest thing. Pre this war, average of 500 trucks a day, Dan, and that was commercial and humanitarian, 500. Since October 7, it's been around 1/3 of that, and much less in the north, around 1/3. So, and there's been several weeks, periods of several weeks, where nothing has got to the north. So, you know, that famine classification, the board that looks at that said famine is imminent, that's an independent board with another independent board doing a very thorough survey of the north. And that is very clear reading, and that's something we've been warning about for a long time. So the reason aid is not getting in is not through a lack of trying through UN agencies or NGOs or those brave Palestinians on the ground. It is because, as we've heard from all levels, from the United Nations, it's because of those restrictions It's because of blockages. It's because of not having enough access points. There are many other access points that we could be using, not just the one down here in the south. Those are all the things. And if they change, we see a very rapid change in the nutritional status, particularly of the most vulnerable, of children.